top 10 Isekai animes where the main character pretends to be weak. Welcome to yet another Isekai Anime recommendation video by yours truly. Today we'll be talking about the top 10 Isekai animes where the main character pretends to be weak, and guys, without further ado, let's get right into it. At number 10, the greatest demon lord is reborn as a typical nobody. At number 10, we have the story of the greatest demon lord who is reborn as a typical nobody. What happens is that a guy named Varvatos became so absurdly powerful that people don't even see him as human anymore. They feared him and also started calling him the demon lord. Varvatos felt lonely because there was no one who was his friend anymore. He decided to give himself a fresh start by reincarnating as a random couple's son 3,000 years later, but looks like his potential still outclasses pretty much everyone else. Now then, how should he go about making friends? Number 9. Didn't I say to make my abilities average in the next life? Such is the story of a girl named Misato who is exceptional in everything she did, but because of that, there were no friends in her life, not even an ounce of normacy. And so, when a sudden accident becomes her passageway to the Isekai land, she wishes to have average abilities in her next life. Her wish is ignored. Not only is she born as the daughter of a noble, her potential for magic is also extraordinary. She soon leaves her land and goes far away where nobody knows her so she can live an average normal life. Number 8. Trapped in a dating sim. The world of otome games is tough for mobs. If being forced into playing dating games by your sister wasn't hard enough already, our protagonist slips on the stairs and falls down to his death. He dies and then wakes up in the world of the dating sim he was playing. The thing about this world is that it is run by women, which means if he doesn't secure a safe position in the matriarchy, he is going to have a pretty rough time. But then again, he is already familiar with the plotline, so what will he do? Number 7. The world's finest assassin gets reincarnated in another world as an aristocrat. For better or worse, this is the story of a man who was once the world's greatest assassin. He had sworn absolute loyalty to his organization, but unfortunately the same can't be said about the organization. They started seeing him as a threat and kill him. This crushes his spirit, but he then wakes up in front of a goddess who offers him a life in another world where sword and magic are common things. However, he is also given a goal. He must kill the hero of the world because that's the only way to keep the planet away from its downfall. Number 6. Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody. At number 6, we have Death March to the Parallel World Rhapsody. There's a Japanese programmer who is basically always working. That's all he does. He hardly, if ever, sleeps. That's why the next time he sleeps, something happens and he ends up in a fantasy world. It doesn't take him long to realize that this world is an amalgamation of all the games he has decoded throughout his career. He notices that he looks much younger and is also pretty overpowered. In his previous life, he was a lifeless programmer wasting away at his job, but now he is an adventurer, ready to set out his journey. Number 5. The reincarnation of the strongest exorcist in another world. Next up, we have the reincarnation of the strongest exorcist in another world. There is a guy named Kuga who achieved the pinnacle of exorcism. He became the greatest there ever was, but still didn't stop and continued his lust for more. This eventually became his downfall, as there were plenty of people who envied him. He dies, but right before passing away, he casts a magical spell that will reincarnate him somewhere else. He also vows that he will be much more vigilant in his new life. Just like that, he is reborn, but as an illegitimate son of a noble, which brings with it its own set of troubles. Number 4. Bofuri. I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense. At number 4, we have Bofuri, the story of a girl named Katie Honjo, who, well, she doesn't have a lot of experience with online games, but when her friends introduce her to a new game called New World Online, she feels ready to give it a shot. In the game, each player has to create their own personal avatar. That goes without saying, but unlike other people, Katie just puts all of her points into defense. This gives her unreal endurance, as well as plenty of other defense-related skills that make it simply impossible for anyone to hurt her. In a very real sense of the word, she became an immovable object. Number 3. Overlord. At number 3, we have Overlord, and while our protagonist Momonga doesn't shy away from showing his power and authority, he definitely does so when he is disguised as the hero Momon. How could anyone have known that the new up-and-coming hero they are praising is the same man as the one whose subordinates are planning for world domination? I'd say Overlord is the most complete isekai anime. It falls under quite a lot of subgenres and has a narrative that continuously evolves. Do not miss out on it, guys. Number 2. Cautious Hero. The hero is overpowered but overly cautious. We have all heard the saying that you can never be too careful, and that is what best describes our protagonist Seiya. He is summoned by a goddess to save a certain planet, but every time there is an enemy to deal with, he starts by over-preparing. Even if it's just including doing push-ups, he doesn't stop training until there is absolutely 100% chance of his victory. He'll pretend to be weak simply to catch the enemy off guard and then completely violate them. This man Seiya is indeed a different kind of menace. Number 1. The Eminence in Shadow. Looks like we're finally down to the number 1 spot, and the anime we have here is The Eminence in Shadow. It is by far the most outstanding isekai anime of this year. The story revolves around a guy who got hit by a truck and died. He is reborn in a magical fantasy world as Kid Kogano, and of course, with all of his memories intact. In his previous life, he always wanted to be some sort of cool hero who also existed outside the public eye. He learned martial arts and other physical skills, and even took out local bicycle gangs, but he was always limited by his human existence. But it seems that is no longer the case in his new life. He puts up made-up narratives in place, completely unaware that it actually exists, and becomes the most dangerous man in the world. But what people don't know is that he is just a normal student attending the academy like everyone else. Certainly a job well done. I'd recommend this anime to anyone who has ever enjoyed an isekai anime. It is simply too much fun to watch. And with that said, that will be it for today's video. Definitely let me know what you guys think of my list, and if you have any other similar animes that you want to share with all of us, please be my guest in the comment section down below. As always, a like and subscribe will be most welcome, and if you're feeling particularly giddy about these anime recommendations, that super thanks button is always ready to be pressed by you at any moment now. Yup, any and all support is genuinely appreciated. And with that said, I'll see you guys on my next video.